This podcast contains explicit language.
Bafangu!
This episode of Dorking Out is brought to you by
Big Kahuna Burgers. Now that's a tasty burger.
Houston, flight is go.
Mila, let's go. SPM. Safety contact.
From Assignment X, thesoniashow.com, and Amalgamated Storytelling, this is the Dorking Out Show, the podcast for people who love stories from movies, TV, books, podcasts, and everywhere else.
Welcome to episode 91 of Dorking Out. This is the Oscar nominations 2018 They Don't Suck edition. With me today is my co-host, Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and nerd author, Christopher Allen Smith.
And with me today is my co-host, professional writer and author of The Sonia Show, Sonia Mansfield. We're just going to get right to it. Oscar nominations,
let's do it.
2018. They're out. They came out a couple hours ago. We've had some time to digest them. Sonia, well, actually, let's plow through. I'm just going to read off the big hits, if that's all right.
Yeah, we could do that, or we could take turns and do a couple. You do Best Picture, I'll do Best Director.
Let's do it. All right.
Okay.
Now that we have that housekeeping out of the road.
Sorry.
Welcome to the show. No. Best Picture. Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, by a nose, The Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
Do we want to talk about it now that you've listed it?
Let's just get the nominations out there. Get the big nominations
Best
out there.
Director, Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, yay! Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo. Come on, Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water.
He's only been making movies for 20 years, Sonia. That's okay. Best Actor.
You're being a dick.
Timothee. Guillermo del Toro. You can't tell me. He's been a major fixture, staple in genre filmmaking for the last 20 years. You can say Guillermo.
Guillermo.
All right. Maybe you just can't say words. I don't know. I'm sorry. I am being a jerk. You're right.
You're being a dick, and you're making the show longer than it needs to be. Go. Stop being a dick.
Chalamet. Well, exactly. Now look at best actor.
By the way,
best actor.
Chalamet.
You don't know that.
It is.
Daniel Day-Lewis for The Phantom Thread. Oh, here's where I get in trouble. Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out. Gary Oldman for The Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Best Actress Sally
What
Hawkins
was
for
that?
The Shape of Water. Frances McDormand for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Margot Robbie for I, Tonya. Oh, boy.
Robbie!
Saoirse. No, it's Robbie. I got it right.
All right. This one.
Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird and Meryl Streep for The Post.
I'm gonna defend you when it comes to mispronouncing. I've heard it's Saoirse Ronan several times.
Okay.
Which, if you look at it, Saoirse. How is that Saoirse?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So and then Meryl Streep? No. Best Actress, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound.
Best Supporting Actress.
Supporting Actress. Allison Janney for I, Tonya. Leslie Manville for The Phantom Thread. Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird. And Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water.
Best Supporting Actor, Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project. Woody Harrelson for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water. Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World. And Sam Rockwell for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
All right. Sonia.
Yes.
How do you feel about all these? We've gone through the big 6 categories. How do you feel?
Actually, like we said in the title, I don't think they suck. Like, there's a couple of things here where I was like, well, maybe I wouldn't have put that on my list, but I don't expect the Oscars to be representative of like my best of list.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen Gal Gadot nominated for Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I legit think she was awesome in that movie.
Okay.
And I what was the other one? I really had my fingers crossed for Mark Hamill, but I knew that wasn't going to happen.
No, I didn't even think about that, but it would have been nice. That would have been nice.
That's one of those were the two that I was like, oh, I would have really liked that.
I want to throw something by you, because I'm looking at, one of the things that happens on the day that the Oscar nominations come out is there's all these very quickly generated stories about what got snubbed.
Mm-hmm.
And snubbed in recent years when it comes to these kinds of entertainment journalist news stories just turns into the big movies that didn't get nominated.
Right.
Which is not the same thing as a snub. I think a snub is a obvious, legit contender that didn't get nominated for who knows why. And I've gone through a couple of these snubs today, and I don't know if it can be counted. There's one on the one on USA Today is pretty indicative. Tiffany Haddish for Girls Trip, which I haven't seen, so I don't know.
So what's interesting about that one is she hasn't been nominated for a lot of other things. So I don't know if that's really considered a snub. It would have been an awesome surprise if she was nominated.
Right.
Melissa McCarthy was nominated for Bridesmaids for playing a pretty similar role.
Right.
The person in an ensemble female comedy that was kind of gross. And she's just walked away with that movie. She's so funny. And I would definitely say that that's the same of Tiffany Haddish. And there was kind of like fingers crossed maybe it would happen. And it's another example of how comedy just doesn't.
Comedies get screwed, which actually, Sonia, I've been putting some thought to how you and I are going to improve television and movie awards, I should say. So I've got some thoughts on this, and I think I've cracked it, but that is a hint for another time. James Franco, okay, I guess, maybe. I don't. I didn't see his performance as essential or as Oscar worthy. It was people like this guy in this bad movie. That's it.
Yeah.
He did an impression of him.
There's a lot of talk that this was related to the sexual assault allegations that came out against him. I think the nominations might have, I think people might have done their voting before that even came out.
Yeah, and that's
to be honest, and I think that it probably has more to do with The Disaster Artist is more of a comedy, yes?
Kind of. It's kind of a drama, kind of a comedy, but it's Armie Hammer. Haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm just going to take that off the list. Right. This is one I want to talk to you about, because I think you and I talked about holding out some kind of hope for Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Wonder
Woman has immensely satisfying parts.
Yeah.
It's a great beginning. Yeah. But it, in a world where The Dark Knight does not get nominated for the kind of movie that it was, having one of these DC middling, enjoyable but middling movies was,
I had no belief that Wonder Woman was going to get directing or Best Picture or script. I didn't think that at all. Right. But I thought maybe we could all acknowledge that Gal Gadot is really amazing as Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and, I think that's a legit great performance of the year and deserves to be nominated. But they don't nominate those types of movies. And, that's just not what they do. There's also I'm seeing a lot of talk about how Wonder Woman isn't nominated for anything, but Logan is. And I think those are very different movies.
Well, they are very different movies.
They're superhero movies. They're comic book movies, but they're very different movies. And I would say that Logan, it is a better movie. And it doesn't fall apart into a CGI clusterfuck at the end like Wonder Woman does.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, in that way, it is just it is a more Oscar-y movie.
Right. And it got nominated for what I would say the one thing that it should have gotten nominated for, which was screenplay. when I look at this, and that's the thing is really starting to chafe me. I know that we talk about this year in and year out. The Academy Awards purports to award the best in filmmaking, but it really doesn't. There are huge swaths of films that don't get any serious, meaningful consideration. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. You can say action movies should, when it comes to the greatest things in film, action movies might not want to get nominated. Comedies, the fact that there's almost no comedies that get nominated for anything.
Right. I think Big Sick is the
bizarre.
only thing nominated, right? For original screenplay.
Yeah, it's nominated for original screenplay, and it's nominated for, it's not even really a comedy. People talk about it as a romantic comedy or whatever, but it is almost like an old James L. Brooks, funny but also meaningful and dramatic type story. And then horror movies, and this is something that we talked about with AJ and something we've talked about several times, is horror movies get no respect for anybody. So it is very pleasantly shocking to see Jordan Peele get nominated for director, for it to get nominated for Best Picture, for him to get nominated for Best Screenplay. I mean, that is, maybe it takes an accomplishment at the level of Get Out, with all that's going on in that movie, for the horror genre to get some respect at the Oscars.
That was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Was it's actually really incredible that Get Out and The Shape of Water are nominated.
Yeah.
These are not Oscar movies. The Post is an Oscar movie.
Right.
That's the kind of movie where, Seth Meyers had had all the Golden Globes come out before the show even started, really, to give that's the kind of movie where it's like the stereotype of an Oscar movie. And when they have those moments where they're like, here's your Oscar clip, it would be like something from The Post. It is that kind of thing. And Get Out is not that at all. It's one of those movies that I think we're just going to be talking about for years to come. And I think that about The Shape of Water as well. I don't think that about Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I kind of suspect it's the crash of this bunch.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because Three Billboards it's getting a lot of heat in the entertainment industrial complex, and while I am not going to go back and defend it, I am starting to get a little irritated by just how much it's getting set on fire. It's kind of like the kid in the playground that you see one kid make fun of, and then for some reason everybody just starts to want to start hammering on it. What I find is interesting is,
it's not suffering; it's winning everything.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about in. And this.
I also
it
think
is. Well, no, I'll step back. It is suffering a little bit because it is getting this reputation of somehow it's this maybe racist movie or whatever. And yes, it's winning these things, but it's also getting hit on this level in this era. But this is what I was wanting to talk about. What do you think about the reaction to this movie? Because I have some more thoughts than when we reviewed it, but I'm just curious.
I just don't think it's one of the best movies of the year, and I think it is one of those movies that I don't like that it's nominated for screenplay, just like I didn't like that it won the Golden Globe for screenplay, because there is a moment in that movie. There's a lot of moments, but I'm going to talk about one in particular where if you just pull on that thread just a little bit, the whole movie is just unravels and doesn't make any sense to me. And that's a screenplay mistake. It's a flawed screenplay. And so I don't think it should be nominated for anything.
Okay, hold on. We're going to stop right here. Spoiler moment. If you have not seen Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, skip ahead 30 seconds. Sonia, what is that thread? What are you talking about?
When that creep goes into Frances McDormand's store and
yes. All right, I guess they only
Like,
need
why
to
would-
they
why would
only
he do
need to
that?
skip ahead 10 seconds. Yeah, exactly. No, why would he do that at that? And let me ask you this. And this is a question that I have, and I think this was the thing that bugged me. Is when people are writing about Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, they're writing about Sam Rockwell's racist cop who may or may not have this redemption story, which I think is kind of a childish attitude to take on this movie, that we can't have stories with complex characters that have awful motivations that change and whatever. The thing that bugs me about this movie, and where I do legitimately think that it needs to take the heat that it's taking, is that it deals with the African American characters in a very dismissive, they are plot mechanics to set up or take down or put barriers in front of the white protagonists, which is fine, but it does seem in a story with a Sam Rockwell type character as a really weird counterbalance. You know, there would be some sort of examination of the African American characters in that story, especially when the new chief of police comes. And I got to tell you, and maybe this is some of the things that people are reacting to. I've kind of tuned a lot of this out a little bit. Is that character is such a good, obvious, straightforward, obvious, competent, obvious can-do guy right from the beginning to the end, that it's almost as though the screenwriter decided, all right, I'm going to have the Sam Rockwell character, so I have to have some sort of major African-American presence in this movie, and they're not going to have any flaws. They're going to be Mr. Clean Jeans right from the beginning. And it is this weird kind of condescension that the screenplay seems to have to the African-American characters.
Yeah, I agree. But I didn't mean to turn this into a review again.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, part of why I wanted to turn it into a review a little bit is because when we talked about this, it was like, oh yeah, warmed over Coen Brothers. It's fine. And it's turned into this, juggernaut. It's won all this stuff at SAG Awards. It did not win at the Producers Guild, did it?
I don't know if that actually has been handed out yet.
Yeah, it won at the Golden Globes.
And it should be noted that the director is not nominated.
Yes.
So in the past, when they have these 9 or 10 nominations for Best Picture, but they only have 5 nominations for Best Director, it tends to narrow that Best Picture race to these are actually the 5 contenders. Right. Because their directors are nominated. I don't think that rule really applies anymore. I think we've seen they are very big on splitting up Best Director and Best Picture, and
which we saw last year. We also saw with Argo, I think.
Yeah. So I don't think that rules out Three Billboards as unfortunately as a contender. I saw you tweeted from our account. Should we talk about Best Animated Feature and how low the bar is?
Yes. So the choices for Best Animated Feature are Baby Boss. That's the
Boss Baby.
Or Boss Baby.
Right.
The Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. I haven't seen Loving. Well, you know what? Here's what's funny. So Boss Baby got nominated.
Yeah.
The Breadwinner, all of a sudden, the Breadwinner and Losing Vincent have gone down in my estimation. It's like, I haven't seen these. They might suck too, because Boss Baby, and you know what? We're playing with this. Maybe Boss Baby's good. I heard it was better than the previews let on, but it
looks stupid as hell.
It looks just, oh my God. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this awful category?
I feel like, this category is always got 1 or 2 in there that you're like, what? Just have 3 nominations.
Yeah.
Don't put Boss Baby in there. Just have 4 nominations.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Well, yeah, it's funny. And it does look strange. They have the Best Animated Feature.
There are other, there are You mean to tell me that nothing came out in China or Japan?
What do you
Like
mean?
they release animated movies every weekend.
Oh, yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
there was a movie that came out last year called Your Name. I haven't seen it yet, but
Right.
it was like one of the highest grossing movies in Japan, and it looks beautiful. And I was like, maybe that could have been nominated instead of Boss Baby.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't have a good answer for you. So let's look at let's dig in a little bit. Best adapted screenplay. James Ivory for Call Me by Your Name. There's a blast from the past.
I know.
Holy smokes. The Disaster Artist. Ugh, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Aaron Sorkin's Molly's Game. It's a movie that I like in theory. I like everything about it on paper. The actual, he wrote the crap out of it, so I guess there's that.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's fine.
I want to see it.
It is. If the
Is it a good, like, say, bargain matinee?
Yeah. If the Social Network, here's what I would say. If the Social Network was The West Wing, Molly's Game is season 1 of The Newsroom.
I was going to say, is it Studio 60?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's
Okay.
it's The Newsroom before The Newsroom climbed up its own butt and came out its own mouth and then did it again.
Okay.
So, and then Mudbound, which I haven't seen and I'm going to see now because it's gotten several nominations.
Yeah, and that's already on Netflix, and we should mention the cinematographer for Mudbound is nominated. Her name is Rachel Morrison, and she is the first woman ever
That is insane.
nominated for cinematography. That is bananas.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's going to hopefully lose to Roger Deakins for Blade Runner 2049.
Roger Deakins.
He's kind of.
Is this his 14th or 15th
I think
nomination?
it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14th or 15th, but
And he's never won.
Yeah, he did Skyfall. He's done a lot of Coen Brothers movies he should have won for. He did Blade Runner 2049. He did this is one of those things where it's kind of like when in the early 90s Al Pacino had starred in Dog Day Afternoon, 2 Godfather movies, all this other stuff.
You're saying this is his Scent of a Woman.
It could be. And Al Pacino had never won any Oscars, so it's like you are in a run of legit locked in classics, but no Oscar love for you.
Well, Blade Runner 2049 is a really good looking movie.
It is, and Roger Deakins
if he won, it wouldn't be like, well, that's bullshit. Like
it would be great.
Fine.
Well, that's the thing, because Roger Deakins is probably the greatest working cinematographer in the modern age, and he's gotten nothing. So, anyway, let's wrap up.
Should we do original screenplay real fast?
Did we? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we. Yeah.
The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards are all nominated for screenplay.
I'd like to point out how much better this category is than the adapted screenplays for some reason.
Yeah. This is a good group. Like, I wouldn't put 3 Billboards in here, but these other 4 are really good.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely like things that I could get nitpicky about, but
like what?
Overall, there's some really awesome stuff in the Oscar nominations in general.
Yeah, there are. There really are. Like when I look at the best movies that I liked from last year, yeah, these are some pretty good choices. These reflect the movie year that I remember. I can't think of any movies that I loved or freaked out about that think could display some of this. Would I like Dunkirk to not be nominated? Yeah, probably.
Right.
Could I get over The Post giving up its slot for somebody else? Definitely, I could.
Right.
But, I guess maybe let's have a discussion about that. What do you think should win? What would you like to see win?
I'm really torn between Get Out and Shape of Water, but I think I'd go for Get Out.
Here's what I think is going to happen, and maybe not, because Shape of Water is starting to win a lot of stuff, and Shape of Water got the most nominations today with, I think, 13.
That is correct.
Lady Bird. I have a feeling Lady Bird, I don't know. Seeing Lady Bird and Get Out. Well, you know what? Maybe that's what's been happening with Shape of Water. Because Lady Bird and Get Out are both kind of topical. They both discuss things in the moment, in the culture right now. They're both really good, earnest movies. And maybe they're splitting the social consciousness whatever vote in the
I don't know.
Academy Awards, and that's why Shape of Water's been
I just feel
in.
like here's my problem. My problem is I do this all the time, is I want the Oscars to be like a time capsule, you know, of what really were like the movies that were the best, but also the ones that we were talking about.
Right.
And what's going to like be a good representative 20 years from now. And I think something like Get Out or The Shape of Water are movies that people are going to be talking about from years from now. And when it comes down to it, like those are probably the two I will be going back to the most.
Right.
And I just think I like Get Out a little bit more.
Yeah, so before we do our deep dive analysis and give our official Oscar predictions, probably mine will be coming out the morning of May 4th, which are when the Oscars are handed out.
Not May 4th.
March 4th.
I'm all,
no, you know
cheating.
what? No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm putting mine out May 4th. I'm going to do all the deep analysis.
What a surprise. Smith got them all
hey,
right.
What can I say? Here I am. I'm the best. So, all right. So, is there anything else that you would like to say? Anybody else you would have liked to see get nominated? Anybody else? Any little irritations that you're seeing here?
I am 100% sure, like, the second we stop recording, I'll be like, God damn it, I forgot to say blah. But I got nothing.
All right. This has been a more harried than usual episode of Dorking Out because we wanted to get it out quick to you. So, Sonia Mansfield?
Yes.
Would you like to say something?
Get out. And goodbye.
Bye! The Dorking Out Show is on Twitter at Dorking Out Show, where you can also find me at Jet Juergens and Sonia at The Sonia Show.
And you can read all about my random adventures at my blog, thesoniashow.com, and track the slow, creeping process of Chris's novel and his other hijinks at jetjuergens.com.
Yeah, you know what? Go right over there right now and see how much is going on jetjuergens.com. Anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be like a trip back to 2016. Anyway, you can find out more about the Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com, and while you're over there, you can support us by giving us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please, for the love of God, for some reason, Apple Podcasts holds our destiny in their hands, so go over there and give us a rating, please. Sorry.
We would do it for you. We have a handy link on our website. It'll whisk you right over there so you can gush your love all over us.
This is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Why did you write it like
I think
this, Sonia?
you
I
wrote
didn't
like
write
that.
it like this. I don't like this.
We would gush love all over you and your podcast.
Yeah, we would do that. Anyway, point
Gushing.
is, I think we might be re-recording this here in a moment.
Gushing.
Jesus. What kind of podcast are you turning this into?
One that people will listen to.
This has been a presentation of Rocket Spots Media.